Disgusting, disgusting, disgusting. That's the only thing I can say. It's disgusting. You give up a 21-point lead on the road. This is the Philadelphia Eagles this year. I don't know who was in charge of play calling after halftime, but they need to be let go of their duties. I don't care who it is. It was disgusting. And, you know, a lot of things kind of reared their ugly head today. You can't turn the ball over like this and win. Cannot turn the ball over. As the Eagles fall today 24-21 in Dallas after a 21-point lead. I'm going to keep reiterating this because I am pissed. You're sitting here watching. You couldn't beat that sorry-ass Dallas team, and they were sorry. I don't want to hear nothing. They were sorry. You had them right where you wanted to. You had your foot on their necks, and you let them get up, and they came back and beat you. Saw this once, too, kind of early on in the season, too, against the Giants. So, again, this was a sorry game. Straight sorry game. And I'm sorry, whoever is the offensive play caller needs to be relieved of his duties. Not saying fire him, but he shouldn't be calling plays. Because the plays that they called in this second half were pathetic. For you to come out and score 21 points and then never score again, nah, there's something seriously wrong with that. And, you know, you got to give Dallas a little bit. You got to give Dallas credit. They made adjustments. This Eagles team don't make adjustments. And it's frustrating to watch. You're watching this. I knew this game was going to go Dallas's favor when Dak scored the second touchdown. I said, this game is done. And then we start turning the ball over left and right. Like, come on. Like, what are you doing? This was a very, very, this was, again, tale of two halves with this Eagles team. Can we get a GD whole game out of this team, out of this offense? Is it against the law to stop running the same 6 plays? You know, I kind of made a little bit of kind of a joke this morning about, you know, hey, if the Eagles do somehow luck into winning this thing again, you know, maybe they ought to think about trading Jalen Hurts, just out of curiosity, him or AJ. Like, if this offense that you're running, if Jalen Hurts is limited in this offense, then you got to move on. Obviously, it's not your guy. Let him go somewhere else. But to sit here and look at this, again, and if Patullo's the guy calling the plays, take the play calling duties away from him. Because some of these plays today were just asinine. You had a 3rd and 2. You have a really good, you know, back in Saquon Barkley. You mean to tell me you can't give him the ball and let him run for 2 yards? Even if he gets 1, line up and do a damn tush push. That's what I'm saying. And the penalties were just nerve-wracking. This team played with no discipline today at all. Now, don't get me wrong. There was a couple of them. I'm sorry. The one that they threw on Cooper DeJean against CeeDee Lamb was bullshit. CeeDee Lamb stuck his hand in Coop's face and was holding on to, was damn near holding his face mask the whole time. So all the Cowboy Cockroach fans are going to be real happy today. As they should. But I think they're only going to be happy for another 4 days. I think they're going to get their ass kicked on Thanksgiving. I really do. I think Kansas City's going to come in here and wipe the floor with them. And then they got to go to Detroit. So, again, I don't really see that. But again, 21-0. You let a team come back from 21-0. You should hear every ire of every fan coming into this game now. Think about that for a second. Hell, you might not even be the number 2 seed after today. If you think about it, Rams win, they go to number 1, and the Bears won today. So the Eagles might be the 3rd seed before Friday's game. And you let that team come back and beat you when you had your foot on their throats. Not good, man. Not good at all. I know Matty B's going to have a field day with this tonight on the wraparound. But, all right, guys, I said my piece going forward. I'll get into what their numbers were. Again, you allowed Dak Prescott to throw for 300 yards today. 300 yards. And where was the pressure at? If they weren't sending somebody, this defensive line was pedestrian today. Pedestrian. I mean, this was like, it was just, watching that second half was just unbelievable. Unbelievable. Like, you cannot let a team come back and beat you when you're up by 3 touchdowns. Sorry, not sorry. You had Dallas right where you want him. And CeeDee Lamb was dropping balls all over the place again. And you let George Pickens just go out and run wild. George Pickens, I'll take my hat off to him. That dude had a hell of a game today. He kind of put that team on his back. But that defense almost gave up almost 500 yards. 500 yards. No. Stop the insanity with this. This defense got lit up today. Where was the defense from 2 weeks ago? That's what I want to know. Where is the defense from 2 weeks ago? Because they sure as hell didn't show up in Dallas today. Let's get to your comments, guys. Mickey Delaney checking in saying, hi, Mike. Hey, Mickey, how are you, buddy? Joe Hale checking in says the whole offense was disappointing in the second half. The whole team was disappointing in the second half. Disappointing. They were up 21-7 at half. And you allowed Dallas to come down and score 17 points and didn't put up not one single point. And Jake Elliott, can you make a freaking field goal, dude? Like, seriously. Every time that dude's got to make a money kick, he misses. Maybe it's time we start moving on from him, too. Fire KP. KP and whoever else is calling offense plays, because their offense is horrible right now. At least you're being nice, Mike. You're saying inept. I'm calling it like I say it. This second half, that offense was non-existent. Non-existent at all. And they had no answer for A.J. Brown today. None whatsoever. And then they started doubling. Where was Dallas Goedert at in this game? You mean to tell me that Logan Wilson and Murray kept him under wraps like this? Come on. Ricky saying the Eagles lost the game. Yeah, buddy, they did. Oh, buddy. Euro Paul checking in. He goes, they shit the bed up 21 points and no points after. No sacks on Dak either. No, they didn't. They didn't. And like I said, I don't know who's calling this, but this has been crazy as far as what they've been saying. Mike said, I've been saying this for weeks. The problem with taking the playoffs calling from Patullo is that Sirianni, who is horrible at calling plays. I don't know, man. I don't know. We were up 21-0. You're right, Star Wars. Pickens, hey, I don't know about that, man. Like, I feel like Adoree was in some spots today. He didn't get beat, like, really bad on some of those ones. You got to kind of tip your cap, dude. Like, Pickens is an all-pro for a reason. And I'll tell you what, Jackson was there on some of them, like he was right there with him. I mean, the guy just went up and made plays. That's all there is to it, Says the defense is tired as the offense is 3 and outs. Probably. And he said Goedert couldn't be a part of the offense because Brown's bitching. Boom. No, Ricky, phone lines are not open today, buddy. I'm not doing phone lines, not for that. Maybe Matty B will do it later. But to sit there and now you just gave Dallas life. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think they're beating Kansas City. I really don't. Kansas City just lost again today, or they won today, but it was a very hard-fought game. they're going to go into Dallas, and I don't know. I don't see the Cowboys beating Kansas City. I really don't. I don't. And then they got to go play Detroit the following after that in Detroit. So I don't see them winning that game either. So Dallas got their Super Bowl. They got the 5-5-1, and they beat the Eagles. So again, Dallas will be 5-5-1 and watching from the outside, but it still doesn't give up the fact that you gave up 21 points to this team, and you just sat back. I think they went into a prevent midway through the second quarter. They figured, okay, this game's over. Now I got to see how they respond. How are they going to respond? Because guess what? You punched an opponent in the face and you knocked them down. But the problem is you turned around and started celebrating thinking that you knocked them out. Guess what? They got up and they hit you with a couple haymakers. And this defense today was horrible. Horrible. I'm sorry, but it didn't matter who was on Pickens today, whether it be DeJean, whether it be Quinyon Mitchell. Those guys got beat up. And I'll tell you what, Reed Blankenship going down, yeah. You might want to sign that guy because Sidney Brown is not the answer for him at safety. Sidney Brown is horrible. He is horrible. Straight horrible. Mukuba got hurt, out of position. Again, couldn't cover worth a lick. This team today, they really did just say, okay, yeah, we got this game won after being up 21-0, and they didn't play out the rest of the game. Dallas made adjustments to stop them. They made no adjustments to the Cowboys. None. He said the Dory is horrible. Let's not sugarcoat it. Yeah, he was, Mike, in the beginning. But, I mean, if you watch the game today, he didn't get killed today. It wasn't like Pickens was running down the sidelines wide open and everything else. So, I mean, he was there with Pickens. Sometimes you got to tip your cap, dude. Pickens has been beating everybody lately, not just Adoree Jackson. So, and then he got hurt, and then they bring Ringo in instead of bringing in Michael Carter. They brought Ringo in for a few plays. He started getting beat around like a lost puppy. Then they finally bring Carter in. So, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson is available as a release by Ravens last month. No, he's not available. He plays for the Bears. Now, he'll be here on Friday. He's been with the Bears now for about 3 weeks, Mike. So he's with the Bears. So, and you know what? If they wanted Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, they'd have kept him. They would have never traded him. If you really look at it, they just did the trade to clear money and people off of their books. We took that tackle from them, and I think the Eagles released the tackle, and they released Gardner-Johnson. So I think they both ended up going somewhere. Doughboy Ego says Sirianni and Patullo get the blame for this loss. I don't care what nobody says. Too conservative of an offense. Yeah, whoever was calling the play calling in the second half went ultra conservative. Ultra. And I'm going to get on some of these guys too with, Gibson. The reason you're back returning kicks, the Eagles gave you a chance, dude. As far as I'm concerned, you blew that chance today. You can't fumble that ball. Okay? And this is why Gibson got released from the Jets, because he was fumbling kickoffs left and right. And he did it again. And punts. He was fumbling them. That's why he got released by the Jets earlier this season. Comes here, he's been pretty decent with us, but again, horrible. Horrible, horrible, horrible. This was a bad loss. And right now, it doesn't really look too good with them regaining the top spot in the NFC. It really doesn't. If you take a look at this, if you're going forward and you're looking at this going forward, honestly, playoff picture is going to change right about now, man. Because you got the Rams going tonight. You have the Rams going tonight. You have, let's see what the updated playoff picture is. All right. Yeah. Okay. So the Eagles are in second place right now. They're in second place. The Rams moved up to number one without even playing the game so far. So the Rams will be one. If they lose to Tampa tonight, they will fall back to number two. But you got the Bears right behind them, who we play on Friday. They're also 8-3. Okay. You know who else is 8-3? Seattle. The Packers are 7-3-1. The 49ers, it's just been, this was a game tonight that they deserve to lose. You don't go up 21-0 and do that. And you know what? I'm so mad right now, I can barely talk. So you know what? I'm going to add a little fire to this post game. Like, I haven't brought fire, but let's add in our boy Matty B.
Oh, you pouring some kerosene on the fire?
Man, listen, I'm lighting this bitch ablaze. That was the most pathetic game I think I've watched in my 49 years of life. And I've seen some bad Eagles teams.
So it was bad, but I just want to. I came on here just for a few seconds because I got things I got to do, so I can't stay on forever. But I just want to remind you and everyone else tuning in that the second half struggles of this football team are not exclusive to this game. With no points in the second half in this game, the Eagles are now averaging 8 points in second half play throughout this season. This is not an anomaly. This game is not an anomaly. This game is a trend. All season long, they've been living like this all season long. Tonight, you factor in the turnovers and 14 penalties for close to 100 yards. Mike, come on, man.
Yeah, they were bad. This was This was as bad as I could remember them being disciplined. And I'm going to be honest with you, some of the calls were kind of wishy-washy in this game. Like I was saying earlier, that pass interference call on DeJean was utter bullshit.
Okay, that's 13.
That's 13, yeah.
Okay, well, can we go?
No, I hear you.
I understand. And that's a trend, too, all season. With the 14 penalties now, the Eagles have now committed 84 penalties through 11 games. That's close to 8 penalties a game for 60 yards a game. Again, this is not an anomaly. That's the scary thing about this. And this is what I think Eagle fans need to wrap their noggins around. This is what it's been like all season. It really has. And now we're seeing it when you walk that rope. And geez Louise, CeeDee Lamb, is he wearing an Eagles jersey underneath the Cowboys jersey? CeeDee Lamb single-handedly was trying to give this game to the Eagles.
Yes, he was. I mean, he had 7 drops in 2 games against the Eagles.
Terrible.
7 drops. And I'll tell you what, though, that Pickens, he's a beast.
Yeah, he tore him apart.
He did. Now, Mike was saying about Adoree Jackson, and I was like, look, some of those coverages, you just got to tip your cap, dude. Yeah. He went up and got the ball. Like, I didn't think Adoree played a really bad game, but he did. I think he got beat on, like, from what I seen, like 2 throws.
Did they call Jalen Phillips at all in this game? Did his name come across the broadcast at all?
No.
Silent.
No. And that was weird for me. Again, it looked like they didn't. The only one who looked like he came to play today on that defensive line was Jordan Davis and Carter.
And Nakobe Dean.
And Nakobe, yeah, but I said on the line.
Oh, yeah.
But, I mean, where was Zach Baun at? I saw Zach Baun get picked up. He was picking himself up from getting knocked around. Okay. Jahad Campbell was out there and never heard his name.
No, I haven't heard his name for a couple weeks now.
Yeah. And, and I'm sitting here, I would have had Jahad Campbell on Ferguson. That would have been my, hey, this is who you're going. This is your guy. Stick him wherever he goes, you go. Okay. It seemed like once Reed Blankenship got hurt and he came out of the game, that back end looked like it was in shambles.
I agree. And Mike, you can hash this out you want, and we've argued it all week, and there's always different opinions about whether or not the Cowboys shouldn't have won this football game. The Cowboys are not as good as a team as the Eagles are on paper.
No.
The Eagles failed to execute. That is why they lost. And that's been a trend all season, but they found the ways at the end of games to win. And now everyone's I don't want people to be surprised. That's all I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear I guess I can't believe they lost. This is what it's been like all season long. They just couldn't get that play at the end of a game like they've gotten a lot of the times this season. They couldn't get that play. when they consistently are trying to give the game away, it finally bit them on the ass.
Yeah, it did. And, this game reminds me of the Giants game earlier this season where they kind of, they let the Giants kind of rolled out. That's the only thing that was different between that game and this game is that the Eagles were playing from behind most of the game. But the effort that they put forward in the second half feels like the effort they put forward in the Meadowlands on that Thursday night.
Yeah.
This is inexcusable to go into Dallas and you go up 3 scores. To me, it looked like they took their foot off the gas and was just like, we ain't got to worry about this team. They're not going to come. And guess what? To Dallas's credit, they got back up off the mat and said, okay, no, we're not done. Here we come. And then the Eagles end up, doing whatever. I just don't like the play calling. You have Saquon Barkley. Why not run? Put a fullback in there. You have the kid Latu. Use them. Like, I don't understand the logic of this. If you're going to try to run the ball, go in there with a single. Don't go in there with a single back. Line up in an eye. Let your offensive line get off and get some blocks. These guys were taking a beating today, especially in that middle. Cam Jurgens, I thought, had a very bad game today. So did Landon Dickerson. Landon Dickerson looked bad today. Real bad. Like, he let up a lot of pressure. And I will say this about Hurts. Where was his design runs at in the second half?
I mean, he ran. I mean, it was a little bit more creative, as you mentioned, in the first half, but then it all vanished. But
they just stopped. They just stopped being creative.
Mike, there's problems with this football team. And week 11 is now when we're going to start noticing those problems, or people are going to start getting attentive to these problems. It's too late in the season to really properly fix these problems at week 11. This is what the Eagles are. This is what they are. Now, whether or not they can run this thing to the end and win a Super Bowl, maybe the football gods are on their side. I don't know. But they have yet to play really a complete game of football, with maybe the exception of the second Giants game, which I still give that a little bit of credence because of the Scatterboo injury. That kind of fell apart for the Giants. That's the closest to a complete game they played. They have yet to play a complete game of football. We still don't know the offensive identity of this football team, and we're into week 11. There's a problem, and there's no more trying to wish it away. I'm not saying it's 2023, which I think it is. Honestly, I do. I think we're starting down that path. I truly do. There's problems with this team, and it goes deeper than the on the field, off the field relationship with AJ Brown or Brown and Hurts. There's problems with this football team. Saquon's officially a bust year. It's officially a garbage year for Saquon Barkley. I wasn't expecting 2,500 all-purpose yards, but I was expecting at least 1,000, and he ain't nowhere near that.
No, and he ain't. You know what? Like I said, I think they got their money's worth out of him a year ago, and I was kind of expecting a major fallback with him just because of his age and his previous injury history. The fact that he stayed healthy last year and was able to do the things he did last year, you knew a drop was coming. I mean, if you look at the two guys from last year, him and Derrick Henry. Derrick Henry's also, he's having the same type of year that Saquon Barkley's having. So, there will be that. I mean, I think the only guy that I've ever seen that could do like back-to-back like crazy years was Adrian Peterson, but he was just built different,
Yeah, and then we're also the contract extension. So we're stuck with Saquon for a little while, which again still boggles my mind why they gave him a contract extension when they didn't have to. I really don't understand that, but that's a conversation for another day. All right, Mike, I just want to pop on. Make sure, kind of a PSA to your listeners: be upset, be mad, be frustrated, but do not be surprised, because this is what it's been like all season long. Well, I'll see you at 9:00. All right, Mike.
You got it. All right, guys, that is the one and only Matty B. Make sure you tune in to the final word with him tonight. He is going to continue this rant that we have been on now since this game ended. And so if you know any Cowboy fans, hey, make sure you send them your congratulations. I will be doing so. So make sure you do send them your congratulations so they can you got to give them their due, man. They came back from 3 touchdowns down today. You have to give them their congratulations. Nooms checking in, says Lane Johnson, no surgery, no IR, back in 3 weeks. Yeah, you know what? Fred had a little bit of a rough game today. And you got the Bears coming in. That's not going to be an easy game for the Birds, I don't think. Now, the only problem with them is they kind of have an inept offense too. So this might be another low-scoring game. This might be a 17-10 game or 2017 type game today, or on Friday. So we'll have to look ahead for that upcoming. But I'll tell you what, this tonight, it was bad. It was so bad to watch. And we're going to have to kind of scarf down our turkey a little bit and kind of deal with the taste in our mouths until Friday when these birds get back out there again with the Bears. Until then, we're just going to have to take it. We're going to have to take watching Dallas come out and play on Thanksgiving, which, again, I'm going to keep reiterating. I think Dallas is going to get their ass handed to them because I think they got up for this game, and the emotion that they have for this game, they are going to let down on Thanksgiving. There's just no way about it, man. Steve says they got pantsed on their philosophy. Can't be conservative when you lose a starter on each level of the day. Yeah, I think you're right. There was no sense of urgency from this Eagles team today. They went for it on 1 4th down, right? If I believe right, wasn't it 1 4th down they went for it on? I mean, God. All right, guys, we're going to hit the scoreboard real quick of all today's action. We begin in Green Bay where the Packers beat the Minnesota Vikings 23-6. It was the Detroit Lions 34-27 over the Giants in overtime. Cincinnati takes an L at home against the New England Patriots 26-20. It was Chicago beating Pittsburgh 31-28. The Baltimore Ravens beat the New York Jets today 23-10. It was also 23-19. Okay, I didn't see that one. That was the Texans on Thursday, 23-19 over them. It was Seattle 30, Tennessee 24. The late games, Jacksonville 27-24 over Arizona, also in overtime. Cleveland 24, Las Vegas 10, and it was Atlanta 24-10 over New Orleans. So there is your scoreboard. Right now, Tampa Bay and the Raiders are about to kick off, and tomorrow night, Carolina goes to San Francisco. So there is your scoreboard for today. Noom says, we beat ourselves today. Let's be real. 14 penalties. I mean, come on. Yeah, I know. It was. But the OPI on the RPO that Dallas got her in the flat was complete horseshit call. It was, and so was the Cooper DeJean penalty against CeeDee Lamb. That was horseshit as well. So, we can come on here and say that. They're not going to say that, but it was bad. But, I mean, the Eagles should have never put themselves in that position. You got to put the ball in the end zone. You got to keep putting pressure on the Cowboys to stay up with you. You thought by scoring 21 that you were going to win this game. And that's just not the case. It's just not the case. So, all right, guys. Well, listen, if I don't see you guys, I will be back tomorrow night for the Clear the Ice. I have Monday and Wednesday, so I will see you before that. I have you Monday, Wednesday, and Tuesday. I'll be back with Paul Spencer for Props, Locks, and Parlays as we go over what our props and locks were this weekend. I took a beating in the pros this week. So make sure you guys tune into that. And here is our schedule, starting with Monday. Post-game, I will have it. Final word with Matty B. Tuesday, 7 p.m., the Pittsburgh Sports Desk. Myself and Paul for Props, Locks, and Parlays. And then Matty B, the final word. Thursday, time to be determined, but Birds Blast with Kyle Quinn. The final word with Matty B. Flyers and Panthers post-game. Thursday, that's right, 12 noon, the Fighting Finals season in review. That's right. We will have it on it. We will not be live. It will be taped, but it'll be the season in review. And then Friday, that's right, Friday, Eagles, Bears. I will be with you guys right after the final whistle on Friday. Then on Saturday, Penn State versus Rutgers. I will have the Happy Valley Huddle right after the final whistle there. Flyers and Devils. Matty B will have you covered. And then we kick it right back here next Sunday as we get it ready for me and Al. And then we have Steel City Sunday pregame and postgame and the final word. That's right. Next Sunday, as I like to call it, guys, I like to call it stress-free football. You get to sit back and watch all the rest of the games. So make sure you guys do that as well. Yeah, and CD having a stiff arm on Coop and Coop getting called for, yeah. But again, even so, you cannot turn the ball over like that, and Hurts can't take that sack. Yes, that's what I got mad about on that play. They had a 3rd and 2. 3rd and 2 with this offensive line, with the tush push, you go for it. You go for it. What's the difference? Or if you want to be conservative, you try to tush push, move it all up, try to get your couple yards. If you don't get it, you punt the ball, and you make Dallas go down the field. Just some of the stuff that they did in this game today was just bad. If you run the ball, the clock is running. By him taking that sack, yeah, did the clock run? It ran. I would have ran it all the way down. But he took a 15-yard loss on the play. That's what killed the Eagles. That's one of the plays that killed the Eagles. Smart football, man. Smart football. You run the ball there. The clock continues to run. Okay, if you don't get it, you don't get it. Run that clock down as far as you can run it down. If you got to take a 5-yard penalty, take a 5-yard penalty, re-kick or kick it. Make it go down the field. Make them travel as far as they can go. And the Eagles didn't do that. They didn't play smart fundamental football. That Matty B's right. They haven't done it all year. You get glimpses of fundamental football with that team. Eagles crash and burn after being up 21 points. The offense disappeared after the second quarter. They did, but guess what? Now they got 4 days. They got to sit around and think about it. And they got a quick turnaround. So that means tomorrow they got to come in, get ready to move on to the Bears, who are now also 8-3. So is Seattle. The only problem with Seattle is that the Rams are not, well, they're 8-2, getting ready to play. Sorry about that, guys. I got something in my eye. They are 8-2 with a chance. If they win tonight, they'll be 9-2, basically a full game up. But, well, like I said, when I was looking at their schedule later, they do have a rematch with Seattle to be there. So, Gittin shouldn't even touch that ball at the goal line. No, he shouldn't have. And you think the guy's a punt returner, right? Move out the way. Let it go. Let it go. This dude's catching it at the goal line and then fumbling it, which is why he got released by the Jets. So, he said Cowboys are heading to the Super Bowl. I don't know about that. Cowboys ain't even going to win on Thanksgiving. So, they're not beating Kansas City. And they're definitely not beating Detroit. Definitely not going to beat Detroit. That game's going to be a grade A shootout. So, cannot wait to watch them officially be eliminated in 2 weeks. The only problem is we got to make sure our Eagles are going to be able to play within 2 weeks. So, all right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for me. Birds fall in Big D tonight. They do. They fall 24-21. I will see you guys tomorrow on Clear the Ice. Don't forget, just in about 40 minutes from now, Matty B right here on these airwaves on It's a Wrap Sports for the final word. So make sure you guys tune in to him for that. You guys have a great night, and I will see you tomorrow.